Let's pod today. How we feel about that?
Welcome back, full-time movie fans. That's right. We're doing another Jack Black movie. Even though Minecraft was more than enough for all of us, is probably the movie of the year.
Can if I can be honest, that's crazy. We just talked about Sinners. Hold on. I think we can't get into that. It's going to be another long.
I like the delay hit that one took for you.
Whoa. I'll be honest. I was listening to the Minecraft episode, and I was like, I have so much love for Jack Black. And Michael texted me and was like, hey, what do you want to cover? And I was really going over a bunch of things. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to, I know they just talk Jack Black, but like, I want to talk Jack Black.
Yeah.
So it's a very selfish decision.
Yeah, so we're doing School of Rock. So welcome to the Full-Time Movie Fans. I'm your host, Jarvis, and this is...
Host Michael.
And over there...
Hunter. Hi. Second episode in a row again.
And maybe we should tell everybody what instruments we play. I don't.
I also don't.
I play people's hearts.
I played ukulele like all the other theater kids in high school.
I actually own a banjo that I do not know how to play yet.
My mom's a banjo player.
I would love to learn.
Maybe she can teach me.
When did you get a banjo?
In college.
The banjo looks so complicated, and like
But it sounds so good.
it's so good. Like, oh God, I love the banjo.
So now let's tell everybody our own personal experiences in private school. I went to a private Christian academy in pre-K, and that was it.
Actually, I went to a private school for my last year of middle school and all of high school. But I wanted to say that one of my favorite cartoon characters that I watched growing up also played the banjo. Doug Funny from the show Doug.
Doug Funny. Doug.
He has a whole song about playing the banjo.
He does.
For
He does.
Patty Mayonnaise. It was
Yeah.
his Patty Mayonnaise song.
Yeah.
I hated Doug.
No way.
It was like right before my time. I wanted to watch Rugrats, and every time Doug was on,
Well,
I wanted more Rugrats.
Rugrats, my favorite Nicktoon of all time. I love Rugrats. Yeah.
What's your experience in private school?
I never went to private school. I was homeschooled for a little bit and went to like a weird sort of
kind of
like
private.
homeschool. I mean, maybe some might argue. Some might argue the most private school you can have. Yeah. But I did go to like a homeschool co-op that kind of felt like private school sometimes. But it was literally nothing like this, like in a big weird old building.
My little sister went to one of those for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had to drive her to and from. So I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
You're absolutely correct. You're like, wow, there's one teacher for like 4 kids.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
And
it's a
half
weird
the day's
experience.
recess.
Yeah.
I actually did homeschooling for a year. And I went to one of those things too.
Yeah.
So I've dabbled in that world.
He's all over the place.
I'm a dabbler.
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
We are a very privileged
Well,
group of people. Nothing like 3 privileged dudes talking about movies. Am I right?
Yeah, every dude needs a podcast. Here we are. No more men need podcasts. Hi.
3 straight male and white dudes. Sorry, Jarvis, you're white now.
He's just getting
Full
co-opted.
white.
Yeah. But no,
I'm erasing your ethnic experience right here.
Classic white guy.
But yes, yeah, homeschooling. That was really no private school. I had a lot of friends that went to private Christian school though. I wore uniforms in middle school. And that felt like private school.
Nice.
Wait, no, I went to middle school. I went to a public middle school, which was a big, old, weird building that I have a lot of crazy stories about. We'll put it in the show notes or something. I've got pictures. I was just back home, and it's crazy. It's a crazy big old building. Haunted as hell, too, yeah.
Bonnie, do not pull the power cable, please.
Bonnie edited in real time.
I had let me say this first. I actually was in middle school and had to wear uniforms, and then I went to a private school and didn't have to wear a uniform. I always thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, that's not the conventional situation. But guys, this is Full-Time Movie Fans. We're back. Hunter, again, by popular demand. We did a poll. You guys voted. Who should we have back? You guys voted Hunter.
Like at least 4,000 people in that poll, and that was crazy.
And we had what's crazy is we had Hunter on the poll, we had Sybil on the poll, and then we had no, not you, no, dude, I'm sorry, I'm blanking. No, Steven, no, we had Greg on the poll, and Sybil came in second, but by far and wide, you guys voted for Hunter, so we've given you Hunter.
Is that true?
No.
I knew the 4,000 people wasn't true, but it's the second time they've mentioned by popular demand and that people wanted me back, and I was like, there's no way that's true.
They may not have said it, but they wanted it.
I understand.
I am very certain that there was one person in the comments that was like, this guy's cool.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
No, Steven?
Oh, thanks, Steven.
Wow, thank you, Steven.
Shout out, Steven. I know Steven. What's up?
Was he ever on camera? I don't think someone mentioned.
No, Steven wasn't on camera. He had a mic. Because he was our producer for a few episodes.
Okay. Producer Steven.
I have a mic.
Forever
an
in our
Uncle
hearts.
Mike.
So my first impressions of School of Rock, a lesser known Jack Black movie when compared to the Minecraft movie, is a very fun time with a much more energetic, if that's even possible, Jack Black. It's a very fun time, and I remember watching it as a kid, and I watched it on Nickelodeon because that's when they would show it outside of the theaters, and it was a good time every time. Love me some Jack Black. And Miranda Cosgrove, yeah, that's a fair point. Fair thing to bring up.
Fun fact before I get into my first impressions. Jack Black, he's a white guy.
That's actually not his real name.
Also not his real name. Another fun fact.
I'd have to look it up.
Okay, he's going to look it up. So my first impressions, I saw this. I mean, I don't think I saw it in theaters for sure, but I did see it, around the time that it came out. It was good. It's fun. Jack Black is always a good time. I think I've watched one of his movies and like, oh, this wasn't very fun. You know what I mean? Jack Black is just his energy is infectious. I think he's always having a good time. Jack Black's real name is
Thomas.
Oh, that's lame.
It's Thomas Jacob Black. He goes by his middle name, but shortened.
So he's like Link from Good Mythical Morning. He goes by a nickname of his middle name, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
what a weirdo. But we love him. And dude, so whoa. Get your beer goggles out. But it's fun, it's entertaining, it's sweet because of all the kids. They're fun. It's always fun to have, kids with goofy attitudes in movies, and that's what this movie brings. It's fun. I love it. Well, I like it strongly. I'll put it that way. Love is too strong a word.
You'd watch it again.
I was waiting for them to have their little spat. I
Lover's quarrel.
A lover's quarrel. I think so. Michael offered for me to pick the second movie this week, and I was really trying to find things that would be fun to talk about and movies that were important to me. And I have a long list of them, and I will submit those to Michael later. They are not allowed to cover any of those movies on this podcast without me.
Is Truman Show on that list? I'm so sorry.
Truman Show is not on that list. So
Okay, so we need to talk about that.
You're in the green. Love Truman Show. Peter Weir. There is a Peter Weir movie on that list, though.
I'll take it. I'll take that one.
So I uh, uh, I grew up watching this movie. This movie is like it was like a constant one of those movies that was just on replay for me, and a movie that I still feel like I can quote so much of, like entire extended sequences of.
Didn't you say before we started this one that you had lines of dialogue tattooed on your body? And you were going to show it to everybody? Guys, get ready. He's about to
I'm
show you
not
his
going to show people
Jack
my
Black
butt, Jarvis. I'm not going
tattoo.
to show people my butt.
It's a scene. It's
No.
a scene of the it's the random ones.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like a really formative movie for me in a way, not in like my taste or anything, but like, certainly like gave me somewhat of like an education on this kind of music, and like just a movie that has stuck with me that I revisit all the time, and I'm always a little bit more surprised by than I expect.
Just a
Feel good movie, but I think, and we will get into this as we kind of dig through this movie a little bit, but I think a movie that has far more substance than people give it credit for, and far more craft than people give it credit for.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I have little tidbits about it.
it's a really, really fun, funny, lovely movie. Yeah.
Jarvis is extra horny this time. I don't know what's going on with him.
This is a
Children's.
there was a Nickelodeon TV show and
I
a Broadway
literally-
musical based on this, Jarvis.
I literally said, Michael, look, Michael said, I have lots of tidbits about this movie. All I said was, I can't wait to hear about your tidbits. And he's the one who turned it sexual, not me, okay? Sheesh.
This is the Jarvis Gaslights Me episode. So yeah, that's very beautiful.
My first impression.
And you are correct. There are a lot of details that people tend to miss out on. I'm not saying tidbits again. Oh no, she's chewing wires.
This is the runner. Like we're gonna find out if Bonnie absolutely just like wrecks this episode.
Yeah, she's a terrible PA. Yeah,
she's Bonnie the anti-grip.
She wants to unplug every wire.
Yeah, she does.
She's
All right.
she's heard enough of us yapping.
Everybody say bye to Bonnie. Or hi, I guess.
Bye, Bonnie.
all she
Rest in
wanted.
peace, Bonnie.
No,
He's
don't.
gonna go take
No,
care of her.
no.
She's just gonna run back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Menace to society.
No, but you were saying like this is a movie that kind of like had a huge impact on you.
Yeah, and just like a movie that stays with me. Not a movie that like I think it was formative, but like not quite to my personality. Just like I.
How old do y'all think you were?
So this movie came out in 2003. So I probably would have been about 10 or 11 by the time I saw it. Yeah. Yeah.
I was 2 when this came out, so I
Wow.
literally 15 years ago.
Okay.
we get it. You're younger than us.
No, like I
Just a bunch of old guys in a room,
Old guys.
reminiscing about the past.
Yeah.
none of my
You hop back up, puppy. Get up here.
Sure. I do think it's one of those movies that like came out and is like important to the people it's important to, and I don't think a lot of people think about it very much, but I think the people that love it really love it, and it's probably also a movie that several people have seen like once and have been like, "Hey, that movie's pretty funny. I like Jack Black,"
Yeah.
But I have seen this movie dozens of times. Yeah.
Jack Black, do the do that thing. In that one movie you do.
Quite literally, the premise of this movie is like
Make music.
Yeah.
Make music noise with your mouth.
he.
He
Yeah,
is
Jack Black
yeah.
is the Nacho Libre guy.
But
for you.
everybody has a Jack Black movie. That was like their Jack Black movie. Some people, it is Goosebumps, which is also crazy.
Good in Goosebumps.
That was a good one.
Yeah, the thing that I think is so interesting about this movie is that it is literally it is the definitive get Jack Black for this, because he was doing Tenacious D. He had been in a few movies. He has this excellent performance in a movie called High Fidelity. If nobody's seen it, with John Cusack, he is one of the employees at this record store, and it's perfect for him. He's in a band, he performs in the movie. It is an incredible supporting performance. And then he has some other standout roles and things, and he's in this movie called Orange County with Colin Hanks. That's kind of this slacker comedy written by Mike White of the White Lotus and produced by Scott Rudin. Both of these guys work on this movie because Scott Rudin is like, that Jack Black guy, I really like him. And Mike White is like, oh, he's my neighbor. And he's like, you should write a movie for him. And Mike White is like, he calls Jack Black and he's like, hey, I think there's this funny concept I have of you trying to teach rock music to a bunch of kids. And Jack Black is like, cool, let's do it. And that's the inception of this movie, is hey, that guy should be a lead in something. Yeah. And they just write it for him, which happens all the time. But for Jack Black, I think that's pretty exceptional. Don't
you wish somebody would just write a movie for you?
It is.
Yeah,
it's Jack
actually,
Black and
yeah.
Mike
Let's
White.
hop on this point. Let's hop on this point for a moment, Jarvis. I do wish someone would write a movie for me to act in.
What? Oh, is this about? Are we hashing things out? There's nothing to hash out. I don't think. Oh, here comes Bonnie.
No, there's nothing to hash
She's
out.
making her grand return.
You were in a weird space. I was also in a weird space.
It was a weird space. Michael once, I think most of the people watching this probably know this, but Michael once wrote a role for me, and I wasn't able to be in the movie.
Yeah. You should be on the podcast episode where we do that one, though.
Oh, yeah. That'd
is,
be funny.
And a good time to remind people, that is our 1,000 subscriber special when we get to that goal.
Michael will. And I've seen...
We're at 180, and we're trying to get to 200, and then Jarvis and I are going to kiss, and then we're going to get to 500, and then we're going to kiss with tongue, and then we're going to get to 1,000, and then we do the movie.
Producer someone's for the first time, is hand me the mic. This is the only time she's wanted to be on the mic.
You're not kissing on camera, let alone with tongue.
In a break of tradition.
I'm breaking tradition. I think this is the second time I've been heard on camera. I'm going to veto this decision. Shut there.
Oh.
Okay, we won't record the podcast episode about we don't have an ending. We'll just do the 200 goal and then the 500 goal.
Yeah.
200, a kiss for every subscriber.
Yeah. Over and over.
Kissins.
It's just little
200
little
kissins. Depends on how passionate we get about it. Anyways,
yeah. Let's really back.
Subscribe if you like kissins.
Yeah.
Hunter, would you like to give us the super in-depth version of this script?
Yeah.
And story?
Of course.
In 15 minutes.
I'll do my best to get through it. If you want, I can speed through the plot and then we can break it all down afterwards if that's easier.
That'd be great.
Okay, cool. School of Rock is about this guy named Dewey Finn, played by Jack Black, who is in this band. He's a total slacker, a real loser. He's over enthusiastic with this band,
but loves and is good at guitar.
Is really good at guitar, and is just he's too overzealous. That's really his cheap sin, is that he's way too into it. And so he gets kicked out of his band unceremoniously and is in a depression when his roommate and longtime friend, played by writer Mike White, named Ned, comes to him and is like, hey, you owe me rent. This is at the behest, I suppose, or at the prodding of his very overbearing girlfriend, played by Sarah Silverman. And he's like, you need to pay me some rent. And Dewey is like, look, I've been mooching off you for years, and you've never had a problem with it once. He's like, well, it's time for you to grow up. You
Real
gotta, like,
stand-up guy.
Yeah. I love that he's so honest with him.
Yeah.
And so Dewey tries to sell guitars. He's like lying, fabricating about his guitars being able to. They were played by Hendrix or whatever, and then randomly one day while he's at home trying to like make some money, he gets a call. His roommate and longtime friend Ned is a substitute teacher, a professional substitute teacher.
Tell us Ned's last name.
Ned Schneebly is his last name, Ned Schneebly. And so he gets a call from a school, and Dewey says he's not home, and they're like, well, we need him to substitute. It's an indefinite position. We pay this much a week. And Dewey's like, So he pretends to be Ned. He shows up at the school and has no credentials for has no idea how to teach these children, and is like totally slacking off at teaching these kids. This is at a private school, and
Sybil texted me and said, "What do you think Dewey is short for?" And I said, "Dewart."
Dewart Finn.
Dewart Finn.
Dewart Finnegan is his full name, and similar to the way Thomas Jacob Black shortened his name.
Take the first name off, shorten the middle, keep the last name.
So his name is Rembrandt Dewart Finnegan. So Dewey takes this role as a teacher and is not qualified, and then he's teaching at a private school, and so these kids are like overachievers, like really used to, very privileged kids. Their parents are paying $10,000 a year.
$15,000 a year
for them to attend this school
per kid.
And so like he's slacking off. He hates being there. And then one day he hears these kids playing music. And the thing was, with his band, they were about to compete in Battle of the Bands before he got kicked out. So now Dewey kicks up this idea to teach these kids how to play in a rock band so that he can compete with them at Battle of the Bands and take the prize away. There's not like a specifically revenge bent, but you get this idea that he's like, this is my way back in to the world of rock. And so the plot carries that there's all of these different children who I'm sure we will talk about in depth, and they all have different roles. He gives them all different roles in the band, teaches them how to play, teaches them how to rock. They all have like their own problems with their parents or with their, with feeling judged, and he helps them work through their self-confidence, feeling like they don't belong or they're not good enough, or cool enough, or they're too fat or whatever.
The Asian kid.
And so then, long story short, Dewey gets found out eventually, of course. All of the parents.
He says some very unfortunate things.
Yeah,
in a parent-teacher
we'll
meeting.
talk about it. There's a parent-teacher conference. Dewey gets found out because he was honest with Ned, and Ned caved to his girlfriend. And so Dewey obviously gets fired, but the kids love Dewey so much, and they were so excited about this rock band project that they hatch a plan to go pick up Dewey and compete at the Battle of the Bands. They're going to do it anyway, and they go and they compete, and they do not win. But
they get an encore.
They get an encore, which like
like a classic rock band encore.
Yeah. They so ultimately they win the day. The movie ends where Dewey is now running a sort of music education program out of his old apartment called the School of Rock, where he gets to rock out with these kids every day and teach kids music. It's so feel good and very, very fun. And that's the School of Rock.
It's good.
Yeah. That was under 15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely under an hour for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
If y'all watched the last one.
And And there are scenes. It's nice because there are scenes worth picking apart. There's some characters worth picking apart, but
And there's some like themes that continue to persist
yeah.
despite themselves.
So I think the thing that's worth mentioning about this movie that is a really important piece of context is that this movie is directed by Richard Linklater, an all-time independent film, like Austin independent film icon, like kind of right there alongside. I mean, he's like coming up alongside like Robert Rodriguez and people like that. But this is the dude.
Jarvis,
that made,
do you know who Robert Rodriguez is?
I call him Bobby Rod.
Bobby Rod. Do you know what he made?
He made my day.
Okay.
When
Made
you
My
watched
Days.
Spy Kids?
Yeah. That's Robert Rodriguez. That's not
That's
Richard
not the same.
Linklater. There's an
Yeah,
important
it's Robert
distinction.
Rodriguez.
Very different filmmakers, but they're coming up around the same time in the independent scene in
And Robert Rodriguez is
Austin.
He's an Austin local or San Antonio local?
I don't remember if he's from Austin or San Antonio locally, but he's in the area.
Yeah, I
'Cause
remember
even think-
learning about this and being like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome."
Yeah, I think Linklater is even from closer to Houston, actually, but he was going to school in Austin.
I was gonna say if it's Austin or San Antonio, it's soon to be the Metroplex anyway, so it don't matter.
for sure. We're growing together.
Cut the middle.
We're growing
San
together
Marcos.
like Dave Franco and Allison Brie in that one movie that they're about to make together. I think it's called Together. Do you know? Do you know that that's what that movie's about? They're a married couple who is like codependent, and it's a horror movie about them like literally starting to fuse into one person.
That's
It's so
crazy.
cool.
You want to know what other weird premised movie I'm excited to go see? Friendship.
Oh, dude, I am so stoked for Friendship. I love Tim Robinson.
So excited for Friendship.
Very excited.
We
Anyway.
we should go see that movie together, Travis. It's about adult men making friends, and it's apparently a horror movie.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of, and I think we should do it. Is I Love You, Man.
It is. It's very
like that.
comparable to I Love You, Man.
I love that movie. So
Yeah.
good. Paul
Big, big fan of that movie. That's an iconic movie for me. Yeah. But so Richard Linklater is like an indie movie darling. This is the dude that made like Slacker. He made Dazed and Confused. He made the Before trilogy. Like, is like a really important director, and he's making like a studio comedy, like a. Oh,
The After trilogy.
I don't know what the After trilogy is. Oh,
Whoa.
no.
Harry Styles fan.
No. Before sunrise, before sunset, before midnight. Yeah, that's definitely not true. So kind of like
Is your fanfic problem becoming a problem?
oh
You told me about this.
yeah. There's a lot of it. Yeah. There's a lot of this fan fiction
Hard-headed.
turns into actual book that they just totally change everything about it, but keep all the yeah. The love happy today we're recording this on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, boys. I haven't said that today, but
May the 4th be with you.
but there's a book called The Love Hypothesis that is Star Wars. It's Star Wars fan fiction.
Yeah.
Kylo
Have
Ren-
you read it?
No, I have not read it. I should.
She read it.
I love Allie Hazelwood. Yeah,
You have to read it
Tangent.
at least once because Allie Hazelwood is so easy to read.
I'm a big
like,
Kylo Ray shipper, so
Oh no, you'll love it. Then.
Okay,
like
great.
it's so sweet, and it's all set in like an academic. Sorry, this is very off topic. It's an academic based romance novel, and that's her whole thing is like STEM romance because she herself is a scientist. She's
women in
I
STEM.
think she has a
Women
doctorate.
in STEM. Yeah.
It's awesome, hot. It's great. You will love it.
Okay, yeah. You know I love kissins. No, it's great. So Richard Linklater is making this studio comedy, like which he has no quote unquote no business making.
Yeah.
so-
For Paramount, no less.
For Paramount, like a major studio, which is really really cool, and I think it shows in some big ways.
I agree.
Yeah.
And for our editor, that's me. And that's School of Rock. Now we can move on to the last part, which we go in depth and talk about things.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good. And then we can switch.
That's
things
just
around.
so when I'm editing, I can scrub through and then hear and that's that. And I go,
Yeah, perfect. And cut. Cool.
but
yeah.
I did it twice, so I'm going to be confused.
So yeah, I don't know. I brought this.
I was stressed about it for hours. And then you're going to go, hey, it's missing audio again. And I'm going to go, ow, how is it possible? Yeah. It's fair. No one's complained yet.
So I brought this to y'all's doorstep. I hate to like run the show here, but like, what are there like standout things? Like why? Michael, you mentioned that you like noticed some craft stuff in this movie that's like pretty standout because it's like a real director making like one of these things.
Yeah.
And obviously like studio comedies have to kind of operate in this like studio system acceptable box.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think there's some flexes
When
here.
when indie babies have to run in the studio pocket, there's like a sweet spot that they gotta fit in. But they get to sneak a bunch of stuff through. So
Yeah.
like Jack Black probably ad-libbed like half of his lines. Let's be honest.
So he wrote all of the music in this movie except
That
for
is
one.
yeah, and that's
one thing.
also a common theme with Jack Black being in movies is that if he's there, he's writing music for them, regardless of if it's School of Rock, his own band's namesake movie,
Yeah.
or the Minecraft movie, which historically does not have like lyrical music in it.
Yeah.
I bet Sybil knows all the lines to Jack Black's song Encarnacion.
Yeah.
A real Tenacious D fan. Yeah.
It's a lot more than twice, Travis. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fun fact about me is I loved Jack Black as a kid. And I promise we'll get back to the question I asked you. I loved Jack Black as a kid so much that he had this great appearance on SNL where he sang a song about being in the movie King Kong, his monologue that week. And you cannot.
Oh no, I remember this.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is so funny and so good. It's one of my favorite all-time SNL monologues. I'm a big SNL fan, and like, it's so funny, and you cannot find it anywhere anymore, for whatever reason. But
No, that's a crazy throwback you're going to that I will have to talk about after Hunter's
please.
done. I'm so impressed that you remembered that.
I loved Jack Black so much, and I loved that monologue so much that I ripped the audio from the video
Yes.
on my computer and burned it to a CD. And then I was like, you know what? I love School of Rock. I love Nacho Libre.
Can you explain to the kids what CDs are?
I love Tenacious D. I love Tenacious D. I'm just gonna like rip a bunch of times that Jack Black sings in things in movies that I like and put them on a CD. So I was like scrubbing the
Jack
internet.
Black mixtape.
It is a Jack Black mixtape of him like all of his singing scenes in this movie, School of Rock. Every time he sings, even for like 20 seconds in Nacho Libre, like I just had this Jack Black CD that I compiled that I would listen to all the time.
So
I
no. I was gonna say, look, someday if you guys will like and subscribe, and we get big enough, when Jack Black guest stars on our podcast, we're gonna have you back, and you're gonna tell him this story.
and
I'm also going to tell him my story, but
well, and I would just say, and selfishly, if anybody knows any avenues to just clip that and let it get to him, I do want him to know. He doesn't need to respond to me. I don't need a whole thing. I just need him to know that I cared about him so much when I was a kid that I burned it onto one of those like gold CDs, like the ones with the gold tops, the
Yeah.
blank ones.
I definitely do need a response from him for mine. But I am no Tanner from Love on the Spectrum, so
Yeah,
there's not going to be any. I cannot compete with Tanner.
Yeah, of course.
My story. Thank you, Jarvis, for reminding me. I have been in search of lost media for years.
Dude, yeah.
On my iPod Nano,
Yeah.
the one with the little screen, I used to have I believe it's an MTV curated video, it's like a 15-minute short of Jack Black teaching basic filmmaker like structure, like what is it? It's not the 3 camera setup, but it's the horizon line rule.
Yeah.
And it's him being Jack Black, teaching people how to function with certain like framing rules.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, Andy Dick shows up and like crashes it
Whoa.
with like
a time capsule. That's crazy.
And I have no way of recovering any of this footage. I have not seen it for probably like 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have gaslit myself into believing this exists, but like there's pieces here and there
find it.
that I keep on seeing. But if I Google Jack Black, the actual like technical term, short Andy Dick, nothing pops up.
Nothing comes up. That's crazy.
I even went to the Lost Media subreddit multiple times to be like, hey, I have no way of finding this, and nobody has
been
anything
successful. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So that would be the one thing that I would ask is like, what is this? What is this called?
Yeah.
How can I find it again?
Yeah.
That would be my question to him.
Sure.
We all have questions for Jack Black.
We all have our own personal grails.
What is your question for Jack Black?
What kind of headspace did he have to get into to play a girl in Jumanji?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great performance.
I mean, but to be honest with you, I'd probably just ask him a lot of questions about
Nacho Libre.
the Nacho Libre because I love that movie. Wow. Speak more highly of yourself. You have a lot to offer.
Sybil on the
question.
mic. We're getting a lot of producer Sybil this episode. I love it.
I don't think I have a question. I think it'd truly be bringing up the fact that my little sister, when she was 4, was obsessed with the King Kong Jack Black, where she watched it every day for over a year.
I am
And
so
we
glad
shared
there are
a
other
room.
people that know this.
She was 4. She was 4. She would not go to sleep without it. So every single night we shared a room. I went to sleep with Jack Black, King
oh my
Kong.
God. And you would just hear,
And I
there's a
was
little
8.
place
I was
know.
8, and so I just kept. I have this movie. I feel like if I could like say any movie like line by line, it would be that movie because it haunted my dreams for like over a year straight. And I remember turning it off and getting yelled at because Summer couldn't sleep without it.
Did you actually dream about it?
Oh.
I was 8, and so like a solid year as an 8-year-old, I watched Jack Black's King Kong every single day.
The movie's good. The movie's good.
I also have a crazy Jack Black and King Kong story. It's not that crazy, but I do remember seeing it in theaters and being very excited. It was my first King Kong movie. I was like 12.
Of course.
And so I went with my dad, and at the end of the movie, my dad was like, what'd you think of the movie? And I said, Jack Black was a weird casting choice.
Really weird. I think he's good in that movie.
I also think he's good in that
I think
movie.
he's really good in that movie.
Still a weird casting choice.
Crazy. He was
What do
just
you-
on a heater.
do you agree?
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? Okay, great.
Cool movie. Anyway,
Yeah, let's...
School of Rock. I love tangents so much. Like,
so good.
They're so fun. But yeah, like
Oh, you asked me a question.
I asked you a question about.
I'm the Asian guy. I don't know that she love tangents.
I don't even know what that means.
That was actually a good one. Say it again. Say it again.
No, I just said I'm the Asian one, so I should love tangents more.
That's a math joke. Hey, you did it.
Jarvis. Yeah. Let me. Ding. Flick you a point.
That was a double approval. Those are
funny.
2 separate medals of honor. So yes, to answer your question from 10 minutes ago,
Yeah, sure.
I love that there is a character juxtaposition of Dewey being kind of a scumbag, but at the same time caring so much about one specific thing that it ends up benefiting everyone around him. And what I mean is, Dewey's an asshole just in general, but the kids would come up to him and be like, "Hey, you gave me this thing and I don't really like it." And he was like, "Well, let's find you something that you do want to do. Like, I want you to be totally stoked for this. Like, let's figure out how to like build you up so that you can like be enrolled in what we're doing here." And that's like real teacher shit.
I really, that's one thing that's great. I think that a lot of adults could learn is, talking to kids like they're real people and that they matter. Actually listening to the things that they care about or their concerns, and just treating them like a real human being. I think that's very important. But my 2 cents, and I mentioned this before we started recording, is that on the rewatch, I noticed that one of the kids, his role model that he looked up to was Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, which in this day and time that does not age well for a kid to love P. Diddy that much, because we know P. Diddy probably is loves kids as well, but also. Also the joke,
more like P. Diddle.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's also a joke talking about that parent-teacher conference where Jack Black's character Dewey says, in this class I've he said your kids have touched me. And I'm pretty sure I've touched them too. And then all the parents are like, what? What did you do to our kids?
This is a really interesting screenwriting thing and like a really interesting structure thing in that like the premise of this movie is absurd, right? That like just some random dude would be allowed to impersonate somebody else and like teach a class for several weeks. Like it's a really absurd premise, but like we are in an era of like talking.
We also reviewed What About Bob? That's also a pretty absurd premise.
More absurd premises.
Also known as Thunderbolts.
Sure. But
You like that one?
it's we're all just listen. The School of Rock episode is about building bridges. Everybody, it's about building bridges.
You set me up.
It's a weird energy. It's. I bring it.
There's a really weird click thing happening over here where like I'm trying to be like real in with Hunter, and then Jarvis is over here like, yeah, you can rub up on my knob.
It's because I don't have a mic. I can say a lot of stuff that I normally wouldn't say under my breath that only Michael can hear.
This is.
But you're like whispering them only to me so that I can greenlight them to tell to Hunter.
It is. It's like a pitch room, your own personal pitch room here. And I think what you should do is hook a mic up to Jarvis. Let's just only ever do the podcast with 2 mics. Hook a mic up to Jarvis, and that's a Patreon tier. They get uncut Jarvis audio.
We should. I actually want you to experience this just once in your life. Watching a movie in the middle of me and Jarvis.
Oh my God.
In a movie theater.
We'll
Because
do it.
the whole movie is just us talking to you.
Yeah.
While we're watching the movie. That would
yeah.
also be a good Patreon tier. Is just
It would.
us clipped. You don't watch the movie, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal happening, but you just hear mine and
Yeah.
It's
It's a commentary. It's a commentary
over the movie.
But I think this is an interesting screenwriting thing where like it is an absurd premise, and we're in a when people talk about media nowadays, like a lot of times we're like in CinemaSins culture, right? Fox News.
Oh, fake news.
Oh, I see. No, not fake news. This is real news. People often are like trying to poke holes. They're trying to poke holes in things all the time, and there's a lot to poke holes in this movie.
Behave.
Like it's an absurd premise, but there are times in movies where that matters, and I think this movie does a really good job of like sort of there's a couple times that I was watching it. There were a couple times that I was watching it this time where I was like, this premise is kind of dark. Like there's like a dude who has no qualifications doing whatever he wants with these parents' children inside. And he's like, he kidnaps them and takes them to this place where like one of them wanders off and hangs out and is playing cards in a van with a bunch of random dudes. Like this is dark. And I think the movie, in that moment where they make the joke about like, I've been touched by your kids and I'm pretty sure I've touched them too, is like, it's a letting the air out of the balloon a little bit. Like where the balloon has become so like, what, how have we not touched on this?
You get to the, okay, dude, sure, this is happening.
But it's like a really good trick to like deflate it a little bit, to be like, we know this is dark and we're going to make a joke about it. That way you don't have to address it anymore. Like it's fine, you know. And I
did that once at a funeral.
It's really skillful.
It didn't go over well.
Letting an air out of a balloon.
Yeah.
Oh,
a literal
Jarvis,
balloon.
Why
it was
did you
very
do
weird.
Is that
it was the farting noise I did.
I see.
It was everybody.
He farted and he's blaming it on the balloon.
Everybody was sad and crying, and I was like, I gotta do something to lighten the mood here.
Yeah.
This is a time for celebration.
But like you said, I think that's a. Ooh. Now I'm just dubbing over you. Yeah. I don't know. I think
He's our Foley guy for the podcast.
I think that's a really. I think that's a really.
What do they call that? Where
Foley. Yeah.
No, in movies like where they have to read up their lines.
Oh, ADR. I'm doing
Yeah.
all the ADR. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ADR for you right now.
Just reading his lips.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Really low.
I'll make sure that happens.
Yeah. Is there anything, Jarvis, that like you found that is like, did this just feel like a pretty standard like studio comedy, or like were there like some exceptional things that you were?
I
like,
mean, so it did just feel for the most part just like that for me. But you know, as we've been talking about it, like I said, I think a good thing about comedies, which I say what you will about Adam Sandler movies, I like them because I feel like he always has something serious and heartfelt to ground out all the craziness and the hilarious things that are happening in his comedy movies. You know what I mean? So for this one though, just thinking about it, talking about it, listening to you guys share your thoughts on it. For me, what really I kind of shared it a little bit is just the fact that like kids are important. You know what I mean? And I don't think that it's crazy because, you know, as we get to adults, sometimes we remember those pivotal moments and sometimes we don't. And sometimes we can't put to words the moment where someone said something or did something or listened to us and it literally changed our lives, or it became a foundation on which the rest of our life has been built. Like one thing that I think, for example, personally, like I think my mom regrets is that she said to me once, she said, hey, it was crazy coming from an Asian mother, but she said, hey, being book smart is good, but common sense is more important. What she didn't know was that I was going to take that to mean, okay, like I already had a very inquisitive mind, but to understand human interaction and like to understand when someone says something, to pick apart, to recognize human behavior, to understand when somebody's doing or saying something. I do feel like I have discernment and understanding when it comes to that. And so, but that's just something that my mom said that. So I didn't really take college as serious. Like I was like, man, why can't I just audit all these classes? I was like, the knowledge is important, not my grade. I don't really care about the grade. I just care to know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So going to classes and hearing was important, but not necessarily doing the homework. So my mom didn't like that. But another thing that was kind of subtle that you kind of touched on a little bit is that throughout the time that he was with the kids, individual kids would come up to him and say, hey, thank you. And they would say, thank you for this, or hey, I appreciate that. Or they're like, hey, I want to share this idea with you. And it was the kids approaching him with their problems, kids approaching in front of like the other teachers. the other teachers or the principal, and that's yeah, and that's but it's a good bit, but it's just important. I think that's a very important thing if you have a job where you're teaching, or even if you're just a parent or you have influence over a younger generation. Sometimes the things you say and do, fortunately, I've been in a position to, teach and stuff like that, and I've had experiences where, either peers or otherwise have reached out. I remember in college I had someone reach out and say, hey, going through some tough stuff, and you were always someone who was reliable and you always gave good advice, and so that kind of stuff is just important. We don't really the things that we do say and the actions that we how we portray ourselves have a much greater influence than we think they do sometimes. And I think that this movie is great at showing that and being there for the important moments. He may not be a great teacher when it comes to teaching, like in a normal, what is expected of a teacher in a class setting, but we as human beings teach through how we carry ourselves, our actions, our words, and he was there for those kids in the ways that they needed more than the ways that the school and society wanted for them. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's something that is an underlying depth that is kind of just subtle. And I think that if you're not looking for that or recognizing that, then you'll miss it. But I think it's cool to have seen that on this recent rewatch of like how the kids characters in this movie responded to him as an adult. I don't think that, like, kids have trouble trusting adults for lots of reasons, and that's a subtle thing that I think spoke to me.
But I think you guys hit on something really important. That's really important and actually moves me about this movie, that it is a movie that operates with like kindness forward, that it's like he's this slacker, and I think you are to an extent right, Michael, about him being so driven towards like this goal he has to win Battle of the Bands or to like make this rock band. It's funny because like there's a version of this movie where he is so driven by revenge that he's like, no, we have to be good, we have to be on. And then there's like that sort of like end of the second act, beginning of the third act thing where like everybody has a fallout and he's been a big asshole and like now he has to like forgive himself and move forward. Like there's that version of the movie, and it doesn't do that. Like he is so driven by this goal, but he's not distracted by the goal.
Yeah, it's like the best side of passion. It's sharing it with others rather than hoarding it.
He
for
like
yourself.
finds that purpose.
Yeah,
and
that's a fair point.
And giving it to these kids, and like every time, what do you have to say, Millie? Thank you.
She was grumbling.
Millie's Corner. She has her news segment.
Very good.
All right.
She's done. She's done with whatever she was
nothing
trying
more
to
say. That he, every time a kid approaches him and is like, Lawrence, when he comes up and he says, I'm not cool enough, the first thing he does without hesitation is like, you're in a rock band, dude. Like, and it's not put on. It is like this earnest connection with this kid where he's not lying to him. He's like, dude, when people are in rock bands, they're cool. Like, that's it. It's just the rule, you know? And then
his childlikeness connected with their child.
That he has this like level of wonder about this thing that he loves so much that he's able to connect with them. And when Tamika, the black girl who wants to be a singer, comes up to him,
this is my favorite part.
And she's like, I don't want to work security, or I don't want to be a roadie, or whatever she says. Like, I want to be a singer. And you can see Jack Black. I just want to say that this performance is like Jack Black's. It's the masterpiece of the Jack Black project. Like, whatever Jack Black has always been, like, it's just never going to be better than this. And he plays that moment where Tamika comes to him and is like, I want to be a singer. And you can see it in his eyes where he's like, all right, well, look, I'm going to give her a chance. But like, obviously she didn't sing earlier. So she's not that, I don't expect her to be good, but that's okay. There's no judgment there. And she starts singing and his face is so good where he's like, holy, what do you mean? Of course you can be a singer, And it's he has like the three key kids are Zach, Tamika. He has a moment. I don't think he has. I mean, he does have a moment with Miranda Cosgrove. Summer.
It's more so she has a moment with him.
Yeah, she has a moment with him, but he has like those four key kids that he has moments with that are like these chances for the character to prove that he is good-hearted and it's not put on. It is so organic. Like that's just who he is. Mm-hmm. And that despite the fact that he's been like a loser and selfish and all of this, as soon as he gets a chance to like give something to people, he takes that and he talks to these kids like they're people, not things to be like they're not grades.
They're his bandmates.
They're his band. And like it is like this actually kind of surprisingly very human story at the heart of this like whatever silly studio comedy. If I can bring it up, I guess that's it.
Thanks for watching, guys.
The best scene in the movie is, to me, the first rock lesson. It is right after he's brought all the instruments
What do you mean? Why did nobody tell me?
Yeah. And all the kids come back in from music class and he's like, you guys can really play, like that whole thing. And he starts putting the band together. That scene is, I really think, just like a perfect piece of like comedy star, like a comedy star performance, perfect piece of like set the camera and trust your star. The camera's always at like interesting places. Like he's doing low angle shots. He's like doing these like, he lets the camera play out in these long takes, like just kind of lets the actors do their thing. And it's like so phenomenal to watch. That scene is magic.
I forgot a very important key thing to note about this movie. All of the kids are playing those instruments.
Yeah. They cast the kids based on what they could play.
Hollywood standards are that they just
cast the kid that's
pretend.
Like the best actor, and then we'll take care of the rest.
But no, these kids are good at all of it.
And I think
none of these kids were CGI or used stunt doubles for their scenes.
No AI was used in the making of School of Rock. Yeah. But so like, he brings up like, he's trying to like put the band together and he brings up Zach first, who's like this classical guitarist and like teaches him how to play.
You ever play an electric guitar? And he goes, no, my dad says it's from the devil or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, okay, well, pick this one.
Yeah.
And just, has Smoke on the Water.
And then Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
And just gets him to play that. And then is like, all right, so now we're going to like, and then we do, is it Lawrence next? Is it keyboard next or is it drums
keyboard
next? It's keyboard. He brings Lawrence up, who does all the like, I know this scene like the back of my head. And then I think it's drums. It's Freddie Jones, which happens to be, I've been obsessed with this since I was a kid.
Fred Jones.
That is the first and last name of Fred from Scooby-Doo. His name is Freddie Jones. And the kid is like, he looks like a young Fred
really
from
does.
Scooby-Doo. But like, and then you get Katie on bass. What my
nice
favorite joke in the scene is he's like, that big thing that you were playing. What was that big thing you were playing?
The cello.
Like, the cello. Okay, well, tip this thing to the side. Cello, you've got a bass. That joke is so good. I'm not going to quote the whole thing. It's so funny.
I think I've talked to Steven about School of Rock once, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a very formative movie for musicians."
It is this like this thing about like
He would never call himself a musician, though.
putting the pieces together. Steven, you're a musician. I've heard the music. You're a musician.
Fuck Steven.
Got your ass.
You're getting
labeled, dude. So
Clip that and send it to him.
it is just like
We need to tag that one, the timestamp, and get Steven to
For sure.
watch it from there.
For sure. He's gonna text me back. Go no, please.
he's like falling to his knees in his room.
Just to clarify for the two of you, Steven feels like being called a musician is the same as I feel about being called a filmmaker.
I see. Okay,
It's a cringe term for what I do.
it's pretentious.
What he thinks about that?
No, that's why we do it anyway. Because he's a musician.
If you make music, you're a musician. Sorry. But it is like it's so hard to talk about these kinds of comedies because it's just like, oh, it's good, but like that scene is so well constructed in a way that it like really is this like I'm gonna lay out. It's kind of like what you want to do with comedy anyway, is like put the pieces together and then kind of like bring it all together and pay it off.
It is a break into Act 2.
Yeah.
It is he crossed the threshold, start doing stuff.
And it's like all Jack Black energy. Like it's
Yes, but that was in the third act of that movie. Is when the vampires crossed the threshold.
and so like that's true. That's the third act of Sinners, the previous movie we talked about. Oh, we went dark. That's okay.
Fade back in.
And we're back. But like, you know, those little filmmaking pieces of like the low angles and the like long takes, I think are really important to note. And then like another one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when the kids put him on the spot about songwriting, and they're like, well, he's like, oh, I'll be shredding lead guitar and doing all the songwriting and lead singer. And then they make him do this like the Legend of the Rent song that he's written,
which is
about.
very good.
It's a really good song. It is so Jack Black. And this is the first time in my life I've seen this movie like 100 times. It's the first time in my life that I've noticed that Linklater just is like it starts cropped in on Jack Black. And the whole scene is done in one take with a slow pull out, like that Scorsese slow. Like I'm just gonna like expand, and I knew that was coming. I'm just gonna expand and expand and expand.
Sometimes I wish there was a camera on my face so you could see Jarvis's face exactly the way I get to see it.
Yeah, once Apple releases the well, we gotta get the Snapchat glasses. Yeah, the Snapchat Ray-Bans or whatever. But like it's touches like that I think are just like Linklater being like, this is a really subtle thing. It's not a Spielberg Warner where I have people coming in and out all the time, you know, like which the magic of the Spielberg Warner is too, is that you don't realize it's happening until you're like in the middle of it, you know. But he's just like, I'm just gonna like, the magic of this performance is that Jack Black can just do this, and so I'm gonna like let him work his magic and trust the actor and trust what the story has to do, and like I'm gonna add this subtle little camera flourish to like help that like subconscious impact of like what he's doing.
I just an actor once. I got played.
So Hunter, let's play a little game, real quick.
Yeah. Sorry, game.
We're gonna all go around and guess how much we think this movie costs to make.
Okay.
And then we're gonna guess how much we think it made in the opening weekend, and then I will tell everybody.
Oh, I'm really bad at this.
So Jarvis, will you take the lead so that Hunter has a jumping off point for budget?
Let's say
Jarvis is weirdly good at this now.
Okay.
maybe I should have the mic.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to say like 22 mil.
That's how much it costs?
Yeah. That's his guess.
I think that's a good guess. I'm gonna say
2002.
I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna say like 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to go with 15? You said 22.
No, I would not. Why do I sound like that? It would sound like a
32 and $1.
I think.
No, that wasn't my voice.
No, I.
That was my The Price is Right voice.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
35 million was the budget.
Wow.
Would we?
I don't.
Now
I
we
don't
go
know what
around. Do you
budgets look
guess?
like. I don't
So
know what budgets
That's
look
that's
like.
that's pretty good for like a.
Well, it's a studio comedy. I should have guessed it would be
Yeah,
weirdly
it's
high
pretty
based
good.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember Sinners was 45. Or sorry, 90. Sinners was 90 in
Yo, 90's big.
2024.
90's big. Yeah.
And that's big.
But this movie is like, I guess I'm sure a lot of it went to use rights for the music.
Probably.
Because they use a Led Zeppelin song. Do you know the story about the Led Zeppelin song in this movie? When they use the Immigrant Song, a great like little small scene.
It's really good.
That scene is so good. Right after they've been cleared to compete at Battle of the Bands, they're in the car jamming to the Immigrant Song. They shot. I think they shot the scene first. I don't know, but there is. I watched all the DVD special features for this to study coming in. I prepare. An actor prepares.
Just goes, yeah, I watched it 4 weeks ago. I do the same thing. It's
Pages
fine.
of notes, baby. I got pages of notes. But
Have we been phoning it in recently?
just bring me in. Just bring me in. So they filmed while they're filming the concert scene. They literally have like 1,000 extras packed into this theater, and Richard Linklater and Jack Black decide what we're gonna do is we're gonna film a plea to Led Zeppelin, who are famous.
Oh yes.
Who are famous for not letting people use their songs and things. We are gonna film a plea to Led Zeppelin to get them to use the Immigrant Song. And Jack Black is like, and it's got like camera moves in it too. It's like this tight pull up, and it's like a crane shot almost, where it like pulls back, and he's like, "Gods of Rock."
Yeah, I was
please."
about to say, is it the one that he's like actually like hyping them up?
He is. He's like
hardcore.
He gets the entire crowd to chant
Gods
like
of Rock.
Yeah, yeah, it's so awesome. You can
Please.
see it on YouTube. It's all over. We need the Immigrant Song, man. This movie will crumble if we don't use it. You know. It's
Hey, what
fucking
else
awesome.
can we see on YouTube?
You can see Full Time Movie Fans hit subscribe.
yeah, brother.
Like
In a couple of months, you'll be able to see Hunter and Amadeus when I sneak a camera in.
no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do
I'm not
that.
gonna do that.
The special features of this movie are great.
It's empty.
I don't want to go on that tangent yet, though. You were talking about
Yeah,
you were
we're
talking
we're
about music.
guessing how much it made opening weekend.
That's right.
So
So
35 budget.
It probably made like 240K.
Okay.
opening weekend.
Real low shot. I like that.
I mean lifetime.
$240,000
or
is
million.
what you think it made. Okay.
Million. That's a
Do you want to do opening week?
big hit.
Oh, opening week. It probably made.
I think
It probably
that's true.
made like. I'll just say it made what I thought it was for the budget. 22.
22. Okay.
Opening weekend. Let's go.
2002.
Let's go. Let's say it like just about meets. Let's go like 35. Maybe it makes its budget back weekend one.
So we'll say 65 million. 19,622,000.
Okay, but
You were
but-
very close.
I think it makes like 240 while it's during its run or something.
It's gross worldwide.
Okay.
You said 240.
It's like
You're doubling
236.
down. You're doubling down.
I think it's like 236.
Do you have a guess, Sybil? No. 131.
131. Okay, because I looked this up. I wanted to know what it made. and
131.
I just couldn't remember. 1 or 2. Yeah, good job. Good job. I'm so bad at budgets and like I've never been good at money.
So I don't get to play the game, so I'm not very good at it. Jarvis is getting very good at it.
Yeah.
There was like a hot streak where he got like 3 back-to-back,
Yeah.
all 3 numbers, and it was like within like 2 or 3 mil, and it was crazy.
I play this game online sometimes. The box office game, which is inspired by another podcast I listen to, box office ga.me, and you have to. It gives you a weekend, and you have to guess what the top 5 opening.
Oh, I like that.
What the top 5 movies were that weekend, and you can like spend points for hints, like tagline stuff like that. Really fun. Go play. That and Cinematrix are my
arbitrary rating system. We'll have you start this time.
Yeah, arbitrary rating system. This movie is really personal to me. I adore this movie. There's so many things I love about this movie. This is an own it for me. Like I probably have owned this movie on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital, in 3 myriad forms.
You also have it tattooed on you.
On my I have a Jack Black tramp stamp of him, just like. Yeah,
it's actually he's being modest. It's a full back tattoo.
You know how like Steve-O has his own face tattooed on his back. I have Jack Black's face
from
tattooed.
Skull Rock, specifically.
Yeah. Is that Jack Black? Yeah. Yeah. It's a very small Jack Black. So
he calls it his Jack Back tattoo. Jack Back Black tattoo.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I think it's an own it. I think it's a really fun movie to revisit. Underrated, super fun, great music, great performance from Jack Black. If you don't like Jack Black, I know Sybil, we talked about this a little bit. Sybil had enough Jack Black after Minecraft. But if you're like me and you're willing to listen to him sing nonsense songs on a loop, which Chicken Jockey and Lava Chicken, I think are like, I would have been a Lava Chicken kid. So like all the kids listening to Lava Chicken are like, I understand you. I know that I hear and understand.
I'm currently a Lava Chicken kid.
I get it. Look,
adult.
Lava Chicken adult. There are Disney adults and there are Lava Chicken adults. So yeah, I think it's an own it. I love that. I have so much to say about this movie. And so we'll come find me. Come hit me up. I'll talk to you about School of Rock anytime.
Find him. He's your where's Waldo task. You got to go find him.
Well, you know where he'll be at a certain day.
Yeah, go find him. Go find him at his performance.
Yeah.
Did you tell us the date and time already?
No, I didn't look that up
somewhere?
on the Sinners.
We'll figure it out.
Smart.
Arbitrary rating. It's just rewatchable for me. I definitely enjoyed it. It definitely has more depth than it if you just like look at it from a surface glance. You know what I mean? You just put it on the background, you're gonna miss some of the nuanced stuff that we've all talked about. But it's rewatchable. It's enjoyable to rewatch.
I do own it. That's my rating.
He's like, I have unfortunately been saddled with owning this film.
Yeah. Well, I also own Dance Flick, if anyone knows what that is.
Okay, well, I don't trust your own it anymore.
And he owns the Emoji Movie, so take that.
No, that's surprising to me. I know how much you love to reference the Emoji
I love
Movie.
referencing the Emoji Movie.
Also, Connection, also written by Mike White. Not a joke. Also written by Mike White.
Yeah.
Also written by Mike White.
With assistance by T.J. Miller.
Listen to what... Listen...
Quick Jack Black. Simple thinks you just need to get really high to watch it.
Yes.
Look, any movie where you can start a scene, right? The Just Dance scene. Go to the bathroom, make yourself a snack, drive to go get yourself topped up on gas, come back, and it's still happening. That's a service to you, you know?
Yeah, this is your built-in intermission.
Yeah. Well, there's something happening in case you like want to stay engaged.
Yeah. For anybody curious, if you're in the San Antonio area, June 5th, through June 29th. Amadeus runs Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday matinees
Sybil and I will be there June 6th.
at the Classic Theater. Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys. It's going to be a cool show.
Right front center. I'm going to have a banner and a,
Oh,
and
I'm
a,
really
and a
nervous.
face t-shirt.
We haven't started rehearsals yet, but we have like a month of rehearsals and then we just jump.
Who are you
into the
playing?
show. I'm playing Mozart. Yeah, I'm playing Mozart. It's gonna be.
Is that why you're growing your hair out?
No, I am growing my hair out because I'm always scared to cut my hair just before I start a show because
Okay,
I don't know
that's
what the director is
very
gonna
fair.
say.
That's very fair.
So if I cut it too short, if they're like, no, actually, I wanted it long, whatever. But I would say for people, if you like Hamilton incredibly inspired by Amadeus and Mozart and
show.
Salieri. Yeah,
It's a good show.
yeah.
And you already saw my excitement in response without knowing that you were Mozart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and if you like music, if you like School of Rock, you like music.
Steven.
Steven?
Go see Amadeus. Steven.
Mozart, one of the greats. Am I right? Yeah, I don't know. I love music. This movie's really. I grew up listening to some of this stuff, and like, it was cool to like learn about other music because of this movie. The way that kids like hear one song and get obsessed with it,
Yeah.
one old song, and they get obsessed with it. I had a student who like was obsessed with Tears for Fears after Despicable Me 4, and like always wanted to talk about Tears for Fears, a great band. You know, like, and I still have this every once in a while, like. And so I think this movie is like a really beautiful exploration of music and banding together under a common goal. Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here, Hunter.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for talking about thanks for going on tangents with me and for talking about one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
It's a silly good time.
We wouldn't want to go on tangents with anybody else.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's rude. Don't get. Oh no! Now it's butthole Mike.
I didn't. I put it on. Oh, because.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, we have done some historic things by bringing Hunter back, as you guys have all requested. We hope that you're satisfied with it. You got what you wanted. Okay?
We hope you're satisfied. It's such a funny way
So
to be like,
stop asking us.
are you satisfied?
Okay. You know, I fed Hunter with
He did.
food from
I was
my
not
home.
paid for this except for
All right.
in delicious broccoli beef. It was good. It was
thank
really
you.
good. I was really into it.
Thank you. Do you want to play us out? I'll get the banjo.
Yeah, we were all really into this episode and the prior one featuring Hunter. So this is technically your fourth review with us.
It is.
What do you want to say anything to the Full-Time Movie fans that are watching?
Shout out to everybody who watches the show. I know these guys work really hard on what they do, and I love being here. I love talking about movies, and producer Sybil on the boards. Thanks for everything you do. Okay, this is a good way to close it out. I'm gonna pretend to know what I'm doing. Watch more movies. Let these guys know what you want them to cover. Come find me and let me know what you want me to cover next time I come on, if I ever come on again. There's so much. Back to emptiness. Yeah. Watch more movies is all I have to say.
Yeah,
Watch more movies.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment. We're trying to get to our next goal is 200 subscribers, and then the one after that is 500, and then 1,000. We're gonna review Michael's movie. So, guys, we hope your day is everything you dreamed it being more, and we'll catch you in the next one.
On the stone in the ancient time.
Sup? You know, you'd look cooler if you'd subscribed.
Your dad wouldn't be so disappointed in you if you subscribed.
Your friends would do it. Aren't you like them? Don't you want to be like your friends? Your friends would do it. Nah, you're too much of a wimp anyway.
Yeah, you won't.
You could watch a couple other videos though, if you were cool.
Yeah, you won't though. Should.